Now that everyone's got a chance to watch the Barbie movie, I thought it'd be a good chance to give my thoughts. It starts off with a reference to Space Odyssey. I'm not a Kubrick fan. I've never seen the movie. It was an interesting way to open it. I could tell they were trying to do something kind of deep or like smart with it, but it wasn't really for me. Everything else with the opening, super funny. I loved all the references to the different Barbie toy lines in the movies. I used to watch them with my younger sisters growing up, so it was a treat for me to also get some of the jokes that I probably didn't expect to get going into it. But then I was like, oh wow, I really learned a lot, or not learned a lot, but I retained a lot more than I expected I would. Barbie Land is also pretty interesting. It's supposed to be kind of like the reverse of our world, where women basically make all the decisions in their world, whereas here we have patriarchy, which is something that the Kens, or specifically Ryan Gosling's Ken, comes to discover. Everything going on with Ryan Gosling as Ken is like more where the comedy comes from between the pair, whereas the stuff with Margot Robbie's stereotypical Barbie, that's kind of where we get a lot of the emotional beats. Mind you, we do get emotion and comedy from both, but definitely on the Barbie side, we get more of like the deep-rooted message and social commentary. With the Kens, we get social commentary in that, but it's more rooted in comedy. He's just more of a silly character, and I think he really stole the show. Without Ryan Gosling in this movie doesn't work quite as well. Margot Robbie is great. Not that she doesn't work; she works well, but I don't think that the storyline is all that interesting without that heavy emphasis on the comedy aspect, which is perfectly fine. It's a comedy. That's what I expect it to do. I will say the mom and daughter, I didn't really appreciate as much. They kind of do a bait and switch where they make you think the daughter is the child that Barbie's trying to find, but really it's the mom. I caught on that it was the mom a little earlier than I guess maybe the film expected me to, or maybe they were dropping hints to make it more obvious, who knows, but I kind of saw the reveal coming, and I never really cared for the bratty teen trope in movies, so that kind of annoyed me, but eventually it kind of stopped being a focus anyway. They do this whole thing with Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell's great in it, but the thing is they just don't give him or Mattel much to do. So that's pretty much that. And they kind of shoehorn him and Mattel at the end. And that's where the movie falls apart for me. It's like a great movie, or it could have been a great movie, and the end they kind of really go too hard with like really trying to tell instead of show the message, and then like they didn't really have much for the characters to do. And that's really the big issue. The ending just wasn't really tight. I didn't really care for all the deep stuff they went with her, like her wanting to be human. It just felt like it just started to become a whole different movie that I wasn't really prepared for. And I think that this could have been one of two different movie ideas. I think maybe they could have focused more on, Barbie's existential crisis. Or they could have just made it a straight comedy and had a less somber ending, but it was just kind of off-putting. Especially the way they opened it with the Space Odyssey thing. It's like, what tone are you going for? I kind of like things that kind of come full circle. And I felt like it very much started with one genre, kind of trying to blend both, and at the end ended completely different than what I expected. But overall, I did find myself enjoying the movie as I was watching it. It just didn't quite stick the landing for me. I'll probably I'd say give it a higher score than I give Blue Beetle, just because it did do a lot more. It was a lot more ambitious. So I'd say it's a 7. If you like this content, if you have any thoughts, comment below and follow me.